The coronavirus is starting to affect the video game industry. Electronic Arts is the latest company to pull out of the Game Developers Conference amid growing fears of the coronavirus. EA employee Alex Scherer shared a message on LinkedIn that EA has advised its employees to reconsider not only attending GDC and related events, but to avoid San Francisco entirely. EA itself will, quote, be limiting our presence at GDC and canceling our participation in official GDC events.
Well, you've no doubt been hearing about the coronavirus a lot recently. It's currently killed over 2,000 people with more than 80,000 cases reported all over the world as of this taping. Because it spreads easily like most strains of the flu, organizations are limiting travel to help stop the spread.
With the video game industry touching almost every continent on Earth, major companies like EA are beginning to pull out of important gaming events like GDC in San Francisco. Joining EA and not attending are PlayStation, Kojima Productions, and Facebook Oculus. In a statement to IGN, Oculus said the company will be, quote, removing our booth footprint and advising all employees to refrain from travel during the show. Hideo Kojima himself was scheduled to deliver a talk on the design philosophy of Death Stranding.
GDC event organizers are still confident they can deliver a show on par with past conferences, but they'll be enacting new safety measures based on guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and the World Health Organization. But GDC isn't the only gaming event being hurt by this crisis. PAX East starts in just a few days, and that too has seen some big names pull out.
Yeah, Sony was planning on giving the public its first hands-on with The Last of Us Part 2, but last week it announced PlayStation will not be attending the show in any capacity. The Last of Us developers Naughty Dog posted on Twitter that although they're bummed about missing PAX East, they will have more to share regarding the game closer to launch. Square Enix also announced a few cancellations regarding PAX East, but it's not completely pulling out. Japanese staff will not be attending, and Final Fantasy developer and fan sessions are canceled. Finally, the Monster Hunter Festa, a Monster Hunter fan event being held during PAX East, will be happening, but not with any participation from Capcom.
Well, with a few big names missing from PAX East, the mayor of Boston sent an open letter to Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida expressing his disappointment in its lack of participation in this year's event. Mayor Marty Walsh said that fears of the coronavirus are fueled by, quote, confusion and lack of information, and that those fears, quote, reinforce harmful stereotypes that generations of Asians have worked hard to dismantle, end quote. He went on to call Sony a, quote, leader in technology that can set a good example by being, quote, motivated by facts, not fear.
All right, but what about the games themselves? Publishers and developers are limiting travel due to the virus, but does that mean our actual video games could also be delayed, or in some cases delayed further?
So far, the only major game being delayed is the Switch port of The Outer Worlds. However, in an investor call earlier this month, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot said that disruption in China had an effect on the company's operations. And gaming hardware manufacturing is taking a hit, with Reuters reporting that Nintendo Switch consoles and Joy-Con shipments are being delayed. According to Upload VR, the Oculus Quest is seeing delays in shipments as well.
Well, with the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 scheduled to go into mass production later this year, and with many of their components presumably coming out of China, it's possible the coronavirus may affect the launch of those two major consoles. And if it does, you'll hear about it right here at IGN.